Okay guys, I'm trying something new. So you guys are sort of a guinea pig. I have been, for the longest time, trying to figure out how I could record what's going on my cutting table. So, listen, I have to just give it a go. So I'm going to give it a go and we'll see how this works out. Okay. So let me scooch over all of this for right now. Okay, and they want me to take fabric A and fabric A of the 34.5-inch piece, and I'm going to subcut it into these pieces. So let's do that. I think this is the 34. Let's see. Yeah, this will be it. Okay. So I want to take, I need to cut a 1.5-inch strip length of fabric. And I have got so much cat hair on here already, guys. It's so funny. You just have to laugh, I'm telling you. Okay, so let me do this. Now, you guys, if you have a Creative Grids ruler, you'll notice that on two sides, you have the 1/4 inch frosted piece. And on the other two sides, you have the 1/2 inch frosted piece. All right, so if you are cutting 1.5 inches, then you don't have to use the 1-inch side and then try to look for the 1/2 inch, you know, lines that only go, you know, once an inch, you know, like that. You can just start on this side, and then this one and that half is going to give you 1.5, and you can use this dark line. So I just wanted to point that out. Because I think I was cutting fabric and realized that I was not letting everyone know that. And if it's your first time using Creative Grids, then you wouldn't really know. Okay, so I'm going to cut a little bit more than 1.5 so that I can clean up this edge. It's like I'm going over by like 1/8. Okay. And I'm just going to pull this over so that that edge stays nice and clean. And then I'll put my 1.5-inch line right on the end. I actually come just to the inside of the fabric so that I get that little bit of extra that the width of your rotary cutter is taking away, and also the width that your sewing machine needle will take away. So this will make sure that you're really getting 1.5 inches. Okay. Now with the 1.5, we are going to subcut it. Oh, I need 4 1.5-inch strips. Okay, hold on. 1. Scooch this back over. It's still nice. And I can put my 1.5-inch line right here. And you can see that right here, it says 1.5. So this is your 1.5-inch line. I'm gonna put it right there. You just want to barely see that fabric poking out to the other side of the line. All right, that's 2. Three. and 4. Okay, so there are the 4. I'll scooch this over for a minute. And now we are going to subcut 12.5 inch by 1.5 inch rectangles. Okay, so this ruler all the way across is 12.5 inches. So just going to kind of tap that out. And so this should be 25 inches. It's not. If I've got 4. All right, I need to stop thinking about it. Okay, let me just start cutting them. I think I'm going to have to open it up because we're going to have... all right, so first I'm just going to... Well, I think it'd be easier actually if I do 12.5. I'm going to line up this line. It doesn't matter which line, any line you want. You just want to line it up on the bottom so that you are making sure... Put it up a little bit. Maybe it'll help you see it a little better. You just want to make sure, since this whole thing is 12.5, I'm going to make sure that the line is on the bottom, and I'm going to put my 12.5 just to the other side of the selvage so that I'm not getting the selvage, that I can cut that 12.5. And then I can just flip this around, and as long as I line it up on the bottom, should be pretty good because that's what I did on the other side. And I just want to make sure I'm going all the way to the end and I'm just to the other side of the selvage. Okay, so that's one piece. Let me give this a quick press. Okay, I just didn't want that crease to mess up my measurement. All right, so now I'm going to, again, line up on the bottom, and I'm going to make sure that the end of my ruler is just to the end of my piece. And let me get this all lined up. Okay, that looks good. That's 2. Oops, I pulled him a little bit. And there's 3. So I guess I don't have to go so close to the selvage if I don't want to. Since I don't have to worry about it, I think I'm just going to cut off the selvage first. Okay, so now I need to cut 5 3.5 inch strips. All right, so I'm going to take my 3.5 inch line and I'm going to put it down. Have a tiny little peak of white sticking out the side. Okay. Using 3 of the strips, we're going to subcut 30 3.5-inch squares. Okay. So we should be able to get 10 from each. Okay, again, this is a Creative Grids, so if you see the 3.5-inch here, I will just put that down. Okay, so I'm going to skip the 2.5-inch strips because if for some reason I'm running low, I have this little bit of extra. Oh wait, I'm not there yet, not there yet. Hold up, let me scooch this over. Okay, I have just done the subcut of 30 3.5 by 3.5-inch squares. Okay. And now I'm going to subcut 6 more of those. Okay, hold up. So now, using 1 strip, I've already done the 6 3.5 by 3.5. So now I'm going to make 4 3.5-inch by 3-inch rectangles. Okay. And then it says using 1 strip, subcut 8 3.5 by 3-inch squares. All right, so I need 8 more. I did the 4, I did the 8, 6 2.5-inch by 2.5-inch squares. So I'm going to flip this back around so that I'm using my 2.5-inch line. Okay, so now, okay, so they want us to cut 2 2.5-inch strips. And then we're going to need, after that, 1 5-inch strip. So we're needing 10 inches. And I just want to check real quick, like, what we have left. Because I know the way I cut it, it went a little slow. Okay, so you know what? We're good. We'll be good. Okay, but I have this little extra because I was able to get more pieces out of the strips than were required. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to do, okay, so we need to subcut 14 2.5-inch by 2.5-inch squares. So let me see what I can get out of this first. Okay, I have finally finished cutting out all of the white fabric. Okay, so I am here to do a little bit of sewing. Let's see what I can get done before I need to stop. Okay, so I have all my fabric cut now, and I'm going to start with number 1. Number 1 is the large pine tree, and I'm going to use 6 each of C, E, and F. That's C, E, and F. And I switched my E and my F because, my goodness, all the messages I got about I did it wrong. So sorry for that. So I just switched it. I'm not even gonna, I don't think it really matters, but it doesn't matter. I switched it. Okay, so I've got the C, E, and F, and then 36 of the A 3.5 inch by 3.5 squares, which are these. Okay, so this is what we're going to do first. And we are going to make flying geese blocks. We are going to draw a diagonal line on the back of all the fabric A squares, which are these. And okay, so then once I get that done, I will explain the flying geese. So let me just start doing that. And I have flipped these over so they are facing wrong side up. That way they're ready for me to just start. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the line on the ruler, which will, if I put that line along one side of a square and I want to make sure I can see the point in a thing. Let me move this over. I can move this over. Okay. If I put the end of this line right on the end of the square, and I also line this black line up, which is a 45-degree angle, right on the edge, then that means it's bringing it right to the end of the square. And then I don't have to worry about, am I square or not, right? Because I know I am. Okay. And I'm just using a friction pen. These, I mean, it really doesn't matter because I know a lot of people talk about, you know, the line goes away with heat and then it'll come back with cold. Well, this is it's your seam line. So even if it does come back, it's going to be buried in the seam. It's not really going to matter. So in this particular case, I don't think it really matters. So use whatever you like. You could probably use a Sharpie, I guess, if you wanted to, but that might be a little crazy. Okay, so I have all of my diagonal lines drawn, and I am going to go over to the sewing machine and I'm going to chain piece them, one on each side. Well, I'm going to do one side first, and I'll come back and I'll show you why you need to, because you sew on one half, you come over, you trim, take this part away, you want to do your pressing, and then you'll have a seam up here. And that's the reason why you don't want to put them both on at the same time, is because one has to overlap the other. So I'm gonna do all of the left side first, and And then once I have that done, I will come back and trim and press them. Okay, guys, so I have sewn the one white strip to the left side of each of these fabrics, right? So if you look very closely, you'll see that I laid the line down that was drawn going from the middle of the rectangle down to the bottom left. And because we are going to trim everything to the top left off, and that's going to make 1/2 of the flying geese. And I don't know why, like some people seem to think that the flying geese are really hard. I absolutely do not, actually. I think that they're quite easy and forgiving. So I really like the block. So I'm going to, I'm just going to do the trimming right now. We're just going to trim. What we'll do is we'll put our 1/4 inch line right on the line that we drew and that we sewed down. And we'll just trim that off. Okay, so now I'm going to take these, I'm going to go press them, and I will be right back to show you what half of this flying geese will look like, or the, whatever you want to call it, flying goose. And I'm going to stop for the night, but I'll tell you what step we're going to take as soon as I come back. Okay, so here we have one side of the flying geese finished. And when I come back next time, we are going to put the other square on, and you'll see that they're going to overlap just a tiny bit right here, so that whenever we trim off this side and press, then they will cross, and that will, they should cross it right about the 1/4 inch mark, so that whenever you combine them or sew them together, then that goes away and you have a perfect point right there. So we will do that next time. Till then, have a great day. Okay, so here I am back with the flying geese all finished up. I took the second of the white squares and sewed them down to the right side of each of these pieces. I trimmed them and then pressed them open, and we are ready for the next step. So let's see here. Okay, so okay, so these are done. These are the large pine trees. I'm going to scooch them over a little. And now we are working on the small pine tree. We are going to use 6 each of DG. It says 6 each. Let me just make sure. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And guys, just remember that I'm using a different D because I messed up on the fabric that was sent to me for D. And that is 6G as well. Okay, so, and 24 of the 2.5 inch by 2.5 inch squares. I think that's these. Yep, that's them. Okay, so we're going to use these, and now we're going to make flying geese again. Okay, so we are going to, these are the right way, so I'm going to flip them over. And while I scooch that for just a second, I'm going to mark a diagonal line across each of these. And I need, what, 24 of them? So, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, I think that's 24. Okay, so we're just going to cut those, or sorry, mark those. Okay, so I have these all marked. I'm going to go and sew these patches on either side of these rectangles, just as we did in the large flying geese, and we'll be back with that. Hey guys, it's Yvette, and I am going to finish these blocks today because I definitely need to get caught up. And just in case you're new here, this is the Fort Worth Fabric Studios For Good Measure Christmas Mystery Quilt. And I'm saying that like it's the beginning of the video. Apologies. Every day feels like it's the beginning of the video for me. I don't know why. So last night, I finished these this pile of the flying geese. This is for the small trees, and then these are for the large trees. And our next step is to make the tree trunks. So we are going to take this bee fabric, and it looks like for now we are going to use those sizes. So I'm going to put the bee back on here and set that aside. And okay, so these actually I can set way aside because we're going to use them at a different time. And I'm going to take these two rectangle sizes, and I'm going to pair them with these guys, I think. Well, those go together for sure. Oh, okay. And these are going to go together. Okay. Let me just scooch these over a little bit so that we can pair this up. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to pair these together. I'm going to take about half and half so you can see. We're going to make tree trunks like this. And so as you can see, we're going to have small tree trunks and large tree trunks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the seams. And it looks like we're just pressing them, okay, putting them to each side and then pressing. And okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark all of the white fabric, and we're going to attach them on either side of the brown. So let's get going with marking these. And what I like to do, I make sure that I have the wrong side up so that I can just pull them down and mark. All right, oops. You guys have got cat hair everywhere. Good thing it's my quilt, right? Okay, so here we go. Okay, so now I have these ready, and I'm going to take them over to the sewing machine. I'm going to sew one white rectangle to either side of the browns, and I will press them and be right back to show you the finishing tree stumps, or the finished tree stumps, and then we'll go on to the next step. Okay guys, so I'm back with the tree trunks for the small trees and the large trees, and now we're going to step number 4. Step number 4 says assemble large pine tree. Using large flying geese blocks from step 1, arrange according to diagram. Okay, so let me scooch these over for just a second. And those. And this is the way I already had them in order. So they are going to be put together. If I can get just one. They are going to be sewn together like so. And then we are, okay, stitch rows from top to bottom. So we'll stitch here, and then we'll stitch here. Stitch the large trunk section to the bottom. So then we will take one of these. We're going to stitch it to the bottom. Okay. And then once we have this all sewed together, this portion of the block should finish at 12.5 by 6.5. And you should trim only if needed. And we're going to make 6 of those. So let's do that, and I'll be right back with it. Okay, so I have my large trees all ready to go. That's not exactly my best one. Which one is the best one? Ooh, that's a good one. Let's put that one on top. Yay! Okay, so now that I have the large ones done, I will do the same with the small ones. And those are going to go together like this, and with the trunk like that. So I've just been putting them like in stacks so that I have them ready. And just to show you, what we're going to do is the same as what we did for the large ones. We're going to stitch these two together, and then we're going to stitch these two together, and we'll have them ready. And so, like I said, I'm just putting them in these little stacks so that when I bring them over to the sewing machine, they're ready to just be stitched. And I chain stitched them. As you can see, I'm eating all of the candy that Colleen sent me. Thanks so much, Colleen. I really am thanking you, though. It's awesome. I love having the candy. I don't know that my waistline's gonna love the candy, but it is very good. Especially dark chocolate. Dove dark chocolate. Oh my goodness. Like, what's not good about that? Okay. So now I'm going to take these stacks, go over to my sewing machine. I'm going to chain sew all those together, give them a quick press, and I'll be back with the large and the small trees, and then we'll put together the block. I feel like I'm never going to finish this. Okay, so I have finished both of the tree sections. When I noticed that we were going to add the big white 4.5 by 5 inch rectangle, and also the little rectangle on the bottom, which are 4.5 inches by 2 inches. So I've added all of that, and these are ready to go. The next step is going to be to combine the large tree piece to the small tree piece, and then we're going to take one of each of these and attach it to either side. So I'm going to do that, and when I come back, we'll have our whole block finished, and they should finish at approximately, well, they should finish at 12.5 inches by 12.5 inches. So I'll be back as soon as I have those together. Okay, guys, I'm back with the finished blocks. I have 6 of these as instructed. Right here it says make 6. So I had been very hopeful that I would be able to finish these blocks, which I was supposed to have posted for you guys last Monday, November 4th. And obviously that did not happen. So I thought, oh, I'll finish these this weekend, and then I'm going to get to week, is it week 2? I'm not even sure what they're calling it. I don't even know what they're saying. They're just, the next one is the Christmas tree block. I was supposed to post that for you tomorrow morning, which is November 11th. And guys, it is 10 p.m. or at least very close to 10 p.m. I still need to load up all these videos and edit them so that this can at least be posted for tomorrow morning. And then I will start working on the Christmas tree blocks tomorrow when I get home from work. So hopefully I can get those done a little bit faster. These had like a lot of steps to it. I was really surprised at how long it really took me to do them. So I'm not sure if part of that is because this is going to be more of a full-size quilt or what. But I'm hoping that I can get these done a little bit quicker for you guys. And unfortunately, I do not have tomorrow off. I work in the wine and liquor industry, and we work every day. We get the major holidays off. So I get like Christmas Day off. I get Thanksgiving Day off. But everything else, you know, I mean, and more than just Christmas and Thanksgiving, obviously. But so anyway, I don't have all of tomorrow just to sew. I sure wish I did. That would be really nice. But anyway, when I get home tomorrow night, I will get started on the Christmas tree blocks, and hopefully I will have those posted for you as soon as I can. So I hope you enjoyed making these blocks. I think that they were a lot of fun to make. They just took a long time. That's all. And I think that they are so cute. I love them. So hopefully you've had as much fun as I did, and I will see you in the next video.